Hello friends, welcome to C# Intermediate to Advanced tutorial. Now you are watching final part of the video, C# web browser control. So in the last video, we hooked the HTML button with the C# event handler code using the document object model. Here we also assumed that the HTML coder do not know which function to call when they design the HTML content. So here in this video we are going to use object for scripting. That means the C# developer will create a COM class and give that to the browser control. Then they will also give the supporting methods to the HTML developer. So the HTML developer will hook the C# handler when they design the HTML document. So in our example, we directly assign the document text. The HTML can be in a file also. Using the file stream, you can read the HTML content, then assign that to the web browser control. Alright, now we will go to the second technique of linking the HTML button with the C# event handler using the object for scripting property. So object for scripting property is a web browser property, and we will see that here in this video. Now let's quickly review all our previous parts. First we learned about the web browser controls basics. Then we talked about the example, and if you see, we have completed almost everything here except this user control 2 that we will implement to learn the object for scripting technique. And in the next video we learned about the important methods of the web browser control. The methods we learned are navigate, go back, go forward, stop, and refresh. After that we learned important events of the web browser control. So the important events are navigating, navigated, document completed, and progress changed. After exploring the events, we learned the document and document text property, and we also learned about the HTML document and how it exposes a HTML DOM support. And using the exposed API methods, we retrieved a HTML button and we hooked that with a C# event handler. Now we will learn about object for scripting. So in the last video we used a HTML DOM using the HTML document instance to handle the HTML button event. In the previous video, the HTML content creator do not know which method to call. So we provided that method when the document load was completed by handling the document completed event, and during that time we decided which method to hook to the HTML button. Now in this video we are going to use object for scripting. The HTML content creator know which method to call. Previously they do not know which method to call, but this time they know which method to call on a C# module. So the procedure goes as follows. First we will create a COM visible class and we will expose C# methods. That means here in the C# application domain itself we will create a class and we will expose some methods, and this is the class we will provide to the C# holder. stating this is my com visible class, and it exposes these methods, and we may give the description of each method, what it will do. So all those documentation we will provide to the HTML coder. We create instance of this com visible class and give it to object for scripting property of the web browser control. That means here we have a class instance, right? We will create a instance and we will give that instance to the object for scripting property. In HTML hook, in the HTML hook the method of the com class to any HTML UI element. So since object for scripting knows what is the com class, and here in the HTML we can directly make use of the method exposed by the com class, and we can give that method to any HTML element event. So any HTML element event, in the sense, say for example for button on click, and for a text box on mouse over or mouse pressed, mouse released. So any event, HTML UI event, that you can hook to the C# domain using the class instance exposed methods. So next we will assign the document text property to the web browser. So in the HTML itself we will provide those hooking that we will see in the next slide. So first, if you see, we are using the interrupt services. This is for com. Why? Because here we will expose a class, and that needs to be invoked on the HTML document. So this is the click event handler for the second button. As usual, we prepare a HTML document. Here we are preparing it as a string, and if you see, this is HTML head, title, all the stuffs are there. Then here is the input tag, input. This is a style tag, type is button, and here if you see, on click, window, external, show message e. So here this show message e is the method which is exposed by the com class. Next, we assign this HTML doc to the document text. So by this time, when the document is rendered in the web browser, the web browser control knows that it loaded this HTML document, and when the specific input button is clicked, it should call the com method show message e. So now the com message is simple. I mean the com class is simple. If you see, we create a HTML supporting method. This is our com class, and this one is important. And if you see, this is important, and if you see, we are marking this class as a com visible class, com visible true. Once you set this attribute, the class becomes a com visible class. Next, inside this we just defined only one method, show message e, and that method shows a message box, external method accessed. So this is the one, this is the method which is referred by the HTML document here. So still there is some linkage is missing, right? We doesn't specify this class. So at present you are seeing that the on click is hooked to show message e. In the web browser load, if you see, here we are providing the linkage browser, and we access object for scripting, and here we are creating the new instance of HTML supporting method This is a separate class, right? Class, and this class ends. Here we defined only one method. You can expose as many methods as you want. So here we are creating the instance and we are giving it to the object for scripting. Now web browser knows, or it has the class instance or a COM class instance, and since class instance is there and it is already assigned to object for scripting, you can call all the COM exposed method. Here show message E is there. Say for example, show message A, show message B, C, D. All those stuff you can access with the same notation, window.external. This external refers the created instance here. This is the external object. From that external object dot exposed method. So we have a web browser control, and this web browser control is embedded in our Windows form. Using document text, we assigned the HTML content to the web browser control. Using document text property of the web browser control, we cooked the HTML content and we assigned it to the web browser control. Next, we defined a COM component. So we defined a COM component, HTML supporting methods, and using that we exposed a function. Web browser control, document text, the HTML content was prepared and assigned. We created a COM component, and the component name is a HTML supporting method, and inside that we defined a method, and method name is show message E. We gave this COM component to the web browser control using object for scripting property. So when we created the HTML document, the input element for the text box on click referred this method. And if you see the sequence, web browser control has a document text property. Here first we create the COM component and we will expose the method. Then we create the HTML document on the fly and we will, okay, 1, 2, then we have to provide a linkage, right? So we use web browser controls object for scripting, and we say that we have a COM method that exposes handler functions. Then we give the instance to the web browser control using object for scripting, and you can see that we do that in the form loop. Then we create the HTML document, and that one refers our show message E. Since objects for scripting is already there, now you can easily use window.external to refer the specific method. Finally, using the document text, we will assign the HTML content to the web browser control. And if you see, this is our COM visible class instance creation. That's the first step. After that, we expose a method to, this is the method. After creating the method, we are linking this method to the web browser control. This is the web browser control, and we use object for scripting. So this way we provide the linkage. So now web browser control knows this is a COM class instance and all of its exposing methods. Next, this is the fourth one. Here we are creating the HTML content on the fly, and we are referring the external method, COM exposer method, show message E. Finally, we are assigning that document to the document text property. Alright, So this is one more technique to handle the HTML button click on the C# handler. And if you see here, the HTML developer is using the onClick, and they directly refer our com_exposed method. Now it's demo time. We will go to Visual Studio and implement this code. Let's go to the code behind. Here we have the using directive, right? We should provide support for com interrupt. Next, we will handle the user content to click event handler. So we generate the HTML content, and then the HTML content on click, we are referring the C# handler here. Window.external will refer our com class. Actually, window.external will look at the object for scripting, and it knows the com instance was created and it's ready, and it make use of the exposed method. So window.external is nothing but our object for scripting property, which contains the com instance. So com instance dot, you are making call to the method defined inside that com visible class. So we haven't yet created the com visible class. Now we will do that. So this is the web browser ex namespace, and this is the class instance for the form. A form web browser which extends from a form, Windows form. Now, so this is the end of that class, and here we will be creating a new class. And that new class is a HTML supporting method, and it exposes a method called showMessageE. So here in the class view, if it is not visible for you, you can take it from here in the view menu. If I expand, if you see web browser ex is the namespace which exposes a two class. One is the form itself, and another one is a HTML supporting methods, which exposes a method called showMessageE. So the class is ready here. Now we will go to the load method, which we already implemented. Here we will link our class browser, web browser control, object for scripting, equal to, here we are creating the instance of our com visible class HTML supporting methods. Now instance is ready, and now window.external, this one will refers this instance which was created during the form load, and dot show message we can call because it's public here. Alright, now we will run this. Okay, so previously we saw this one, and now we will load user content to here. You can see external method accessed. That's all here in this sub-series. Thank you for watching. Bye.